The bottom line is this. We should not be penalized because we've spent our money and used up our resources on preserving homes. I've lived in my home for 30 years. It was historical when I bought it. I bought it because it was historical. Now the city wants to charge me more money for preserving my home? How would you feel about that? How would you? How would you like to be told, you can't use that window, you can't use that color, you have to dye the concrete in front of your sidewalk gray?
Opponents living within the proposed West Bergen-East Lincoln Park Historic District, prior to a vote by the Jersey City Council, which would establish the district, expressed their issues with Real Jersey City regarding the ordinance, starting with Dr. AUDRA Schulman's concern over excessive regulation of homeowners.
For me, is this idea of having to have everything aligned in the neighborhood or the houses if you're doing any repairs or amendments to your unit. It's not just you looking at your home and doing the work. You have to do it within the context of multiple others. And your choice for your home color, the fencing you choose, the lighting you choose for your home may actually not be your choice if we have a historic preservation officer determining if it's acceptable within the context of the 5 or 6 homes next to you.
Continuing on the issue of excessive regulation, E.J. CENTENO spoke about the increased costs property owners may incur.
At core, what I feel most passionate about is the fact that the city of Jersey City would like to remove our homeowner property rights from us, take those rights, tell us what to do with them, and then have no financial burden at all whatsoever on that. And then on top of that, there are additional costs which are very important to homeowners that are struggling in this area. There's increased insurance premiums, there's increased taxes, and increased required materials of historic nature to preserve or, maintain a landscape which is acceptable to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Mike Selender spoke about the history of development and inconsistencies of housing within the proposed district.
This area was the suburbs for downtown Jersey City in the late 19th century into the early 20th century. Of course, once the Hudson and Manhattan Railroad came through around 1910, which is now the path, most properties were too valuable to be used to continue in use as single-family homes. And that's where you started seeing the development of apartment buildings, particularly from the 1920s to briefly after World War II in this area. So there's no real consistent context for the neighborhood. People look at, say, a few streets like Gifford and Bentley, they see the grand Victorian homes, and they assume that's the whole district. But there's the rest of the district, which is very different from that. And it's just very problematic what people are going to be required to do on their homes under historic preservation.
After highlighting the different types of housing within the district on Kensington Avenue, Selender spoke about the historic designation potentially inviting real estate speculators and gentrification of the area.
This is going to be a very difficult district to administer. There just isn't a coherent context. Yes, it would be nice to preserve and protect all the old, large Victorian houses. That can be done through landmarking. There are other zoning tools that can be used. But for a historic district, particularly troubling is you start including large areas of affordable and low-income housing. This area, the district goes east of Bergen and includes Kensington Gardens, which is a huge low-income apartment complex. It includes a number of other apartment complexes. This could open up a space for speculation. I could see speculators coming in, converting a lot of these to condos or converting them to upscale apartment buildings, and you're going to see a large loss of affordable housing. These are people who got pushed out of downtown when downtown gentrified. So they came up the hill. And if this district passes, they could well get pushed out of this district as well.
Finally, Centeno stressed that it was more important to preserve the diversity of people living within the neighborhood than the buildings themselves.
If you look around, this area is a very beautiful area full of families of completely different mixed cultures, different races, different backgrounds, different beliefs living in unison. Not to say that the neighborhood is perfect, but there is a harmony to this that is threatened when you have a group of people telling us what we should do with our property and not have any financial burden. And so at core, I think that is one of the things that bothers me the most. And also the people. You know, of course it's about homeowners. That's a core issue. But there's also people that rent apartments. The Downtown Historic District is the 8th most expensive apartment rental area in the country. In the country. Their rates are 3 times the national average. Now, where these could be good people, they can't afford that. And because they can't afford that, they shouldn't be forced out of their homes or their apartments. The most beautiful thing to preserve is the diversity of the people, is the diversity of cultures, is the diversity of the humanity in this neighborhood, not the buildings.
I'm Michael Shurin with Real Jersey City, the talk of the town.